My parents have got greyhounds, so I was almost born onto a greyhound track in Bendigo. Mum and Dad have done the training and basically by just spending time with them at the tracks I got interested in more so the behind the scenes stuff. Since the meadows opened, I basically arrived just prior to us laying the track surface and completed that work, and we trialled towards the end of 1998, and our first race meeting was in February 1999, so it's 20 years at the end of this year for me.
So I got into the sport through my mum and dad, Michael and Julie Chilcott. When I was 12, they had their first litter of dogs, so 15 years ago. And from then on, I sort of was handling dogs. Even from a young age, say 14, 15, I was knocking off school at 2 o'clock just so I could get to Traralgon on the Friday night. And that was probably, they made the school day go a lot quicker knowing I could get up there and catch some dogs and earn some money. And I was just in between university in the school holidays and I wasn't enjoying it. So Dad got me a job down at Bendigo Greyhounds. And then I was there for 18 months and sort of made my way up through the staff and got to sort of starting the races. And then Cory was down at Bendigo one day and I think I was pulling weeds in bare feet out on the track. And he thought he might have found a worker here, so he sort of poached me down. And I've been here ever since and loving it.
We've got 5 full-timers outside on the track and grounds and so forth. So I'm very lucky that I've got a really good team here at the Meadows and we're all pushing in the same direction. We all get along really well. Each person knows their niche. So I'm very lucky that we've got a pretty good team. So on a Saturday, for example, which is our main race meeting of the week, I start at midday, have an extremely long day because I finish at midnight. But it's all track preparation and grounds preparation, so ensuring that everything's clean and tidy, the racing surface is in pristine condition, any maintenance on equipment that might need to be occurring so that basically the race night runs as smoothly as possible. One of the things with greyhound racing tracks is that they can either be too wet, too dry, too firm, too soft, and it's very hard to please everybody. It's that kind of competitive sport that we're in. So you've got to learn to be able to filter out some of that noise. There are trainers that I highly value the opinion of because generally they're not critiquing on a week-to-week basis. It'll be more a periodic, they'll have an opinion on something and it really makes you sort of prick your ears up and listen to what they have to say. Lure driving is an interesting job. It's always slightly different with every race and every trial because greyhounds run at different paces and so forth. The important thing is that you are trying to get a race to run as cleanly as possible, so that means that you allow the dogs to sight the lure correctly at the start and then you're using the lure clearly as an enticement. So you want it to be as close as possible within the rules, which is 5 to 8 metres.
I think this is the most well-presented track we've got in the state. I know that's a big opinion to say, but I've worked on a few tracks now. I've probably worked on 5 or 6, and yeah, I hold the Meadows as one of the best.
We're lucky in Victoria that over the years GRV has continually spent money on infrastructure, and as a result of that we've got some of the best tracks, I would say, in the world. I've travelled all around Australia and overseas looking at greyhound tracks, and there's no doubt that we're very lucky that with the Meadows and Sandown Park we've got 2 of the leading metropolitan tracks in the world.
So on the Australian Cup Day, the thing we try to get right is making sure everything looks perfect. We pride ourselves on our grounds here at the Meadows.
There's like a pretty intense 4-week lead up to our Cup Carnival where it's all the extra jobs that we don't do on a weekly basis, like painting the rail, the fence, ensuring all the gardens are like weed free. We restain all our decking, which is quite a big area here at the Meadows. When it actually gets to Australian Cup Day, we're pretty tired, but most of our work's pretty much done.
Whether you're driving the lure or you're standing down on the first turn watching them, it's just a really good thing to be a part of, and you see the joy in the faces of the trainers when the dogs come across the line, and that's probably the biggest moment for me. From the moment that I think I patted the first one, and my first pet that I ever had was a greyhound, so from that moment I've been hooked to the sport. They're perfect animals. They sleep 3/4 of the day, have a burst of energy for maybe 10 minutes and then they're straight back to bed and they sleep.
Greyhound racing's formed a really big part of my life. I'm very passionate about how my work within the industry forwards the industry and makes it better.